So Hayes, what just happened?
Well, got my first deer, and it was a huge doe.
Yeah, and what did you shoot her with?
A crossbow.
Nice. Well, let's walk up here and see if we can find some blood. So go up where you think you shot her and see if you can find some blood. Hi, and welcome to Measure of Success Outdoors, Episode 5. This week we got an exciting episode that is near and dear to my heart because we get the opportunity to bring the harvest of my son Hayes' very first deer. So like I said, we actually have an episode that's going to have another harvest for you. But also on the previous episode, I had mentioned that I'm putting in a 40-hour challenge to myself to spend at least 40 hours in the stand to have a shot at a big deer. And actually I ended up logging 55 and a half hours, saw 25 deer. Unfortunately I didn't get them all on video, but we did get several of those deer on video that we'll share with you throughout this episode. And those are hunts that included myself hunting, along with a hunt where Nick joined me, or actually I joined Nick on a piece of private property. We put the decoy out, and we did have a small buck come in, and he thought he wanted to tangle, but after he maybe got scared by breaking some twigs off, he decided he was just going to move on.
All right. It's November 2nd. I almost said 1st. It's a Friday afternoon. Brent's been off for a couple days. You guys have seen some of his hunts from earlier this week. I was able to sneak out. We're back in here on the north end tonight. We got the Montana decoy out behind us this time. It was a little easier to get in here and pack in. You gotta walk through some woods to get in here. And that plastic decoy sometimes sounds like a bass drum getting in here. So we went with the Montana decoy. It's out here behind me in the food plot. It's a cool night, a little bit windy, but the wind is great for this stand. I'm excited to be back in the stand, or at least in a stand that doesn't require me to take the screens out of the windows. So let's see what happens. Big deer have been going down quite a bit lately. Brent's had some chasing this week, and let's see what happens tonight. About 4 more years, 3 or 4 more years. But it's always fun to see him. And like I said earlier, he was staring at something out by the road, so we'll see if there's not maybe a couple coming across the road or something. small bucks come in. The second one was a little forkhorn, and he thought he wanted to mess with the decoy until the decoy didn't run away. So what a great night. What a primer for tomorrow. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Exciting setup tomorrow. We'll be on the ground over on a place that we know there's a lot of deer. We'll be right there on the main travel route, so stay tuned.
So here at Measure of Success Outdoors, one thing that we really want to encourage and we push ourselves to do is to get the youth out there, whether it's fishing, hunting, just get them out in the outdoors so they can enjoy God's creation. But just a couple pointers that I've experienced myself over the last couple of years with my boys is, one, you need to make it exciting for them. Make sure you're getting them out on a piece of property that has a lot of game, or in a fishing hole that has a lot of fish. They need to see stuff to keep their attention going. But the other thing is, as much as we want to break them away from their electronics, let's go ahead and let them bring a tablet or something with them so they can play games. Because if not, you're going to be lucky if you get an hour out of them. So we'll show you a deer that Hayes harvested over near Beaver Lake with one of our buddies, Russ. But we had to sit for several hours before we could get the deer to come in right at the last light. One of the ways we were able to sit for hours with an 8-year-old was to allow him to take some video games, his tablet with him, and enjoy some electronics to help pass the time. So sit back and enjoy the show. So after sitting for about 3 hours, we actually have 2 doe coming up from our left-hand side. Right now we're trying to get Hayes into position. We've got a small corn pile out at about 10 yards or so that those deer have gotten pretty used to coming up to. The one thing that we neglected to realize was that with 2 adults, a child, and camera equipment in the blind, that it was going to put the front of the crossbow right up at the window. And as you can see here, this doe's realize that something's not right because she can see that crossbow moving. Hayes, is there any reason why that crossbow is moving so much?
Because I'm shaking.
Getting a little bit of buck fever even though it's not a buck, huh?
Yeah.
So since she's pegged us in the blind, I'm going to move over and shoot the video out of the other window as Hayes is starting to position. He's got to move slightly to the right so that he can get a shot on her because she's not going to come any closer. As we slow down, you can see that he had a great shot. Excellent job holding his composure. As we all know, that getting the shakes when a deer comes in is pretty easy. So Hayes, what just happened?
Well, got my first deer, and it was a huge doe.
Yeah, and what did you shoot her with?
A crossbow.
Nice. Well, let's walk up here and see if we can find some blood. So go up where you think you shot her and see if you can find some blood. So as we start the blood trail, Hayes was actually the first one to find blood. So I was pretty proud of him. Might have to give him a new nickname, start to call him Bloodhound or something, because he got on this trail and he stayed on the trail the entire time for approximately 65 to 75 yards. So we were just coming up to try to recover and find the bolt, and the bolt had a complete pass through the deer, and came over and check this out. Put that light on it more. And buried into the tree.
Oh.
Check that out. If that tree wasn't there, that bull, I mean, it zipped complete pass through on that deer. That's the Barnett, drop tine, crossbow with the step through riser. It's bad to the bone, it's spitting them out there pretty quick.